Welcome. In this video, Zbcn'S holders continue to rise. Will the rally come? We will analyze this. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and please watch to the end to understand. When we carefully examine the chart, we can clearly observe a well-defined ascending channel formation. These types of structures in technical analysis indicate that the price is moving in a certain trend direction, with the boundaries of this trend defined by the upper and lower bands of the channel. At the moment, the price has approached the lower boundary of the ascending channel and reacted significantly, turning upward. This kind of price behavior, as indicated by similar technical patterns in the past, generally shows that buyers are still active and the price wants to resume its upward direction. The reaction from the lower band is a clear indication that the market still considers this boundary a strong support area. These levels not only act as past lows, but also reflect investor psychology. Investors recall that the price reacted upward the last time it reached this level, leading them to expect a similar scenario again. This increases demand in the region and causes the price to gain upward momentum. From this perspective, the price movement within this channel structure should be monitored closely, and potential reversal points should be strategically evaluated. Especially now, with the support received from the lower band, it seems quite likely that the price will continue its upward movement toward the midline of the channel. This midline typically acts as both short-term resistance and a balance point within the channel. Before reaching this point, the price may experience minor pullbacks. However, looking at the overall structure, it is clear that the trend remains positive. This suggests that bullish strategies are still valid. For investors, tracking such ascending channel structures is of great importance, as the price remaining within this channel is a positive sign for the sustainability of the trend. Reaching the midline should not be viewed only as a temporary target, but also provides clues about how market participants are interpreting the price action and how strong the buying or selling pressure is. If the price fails to gain momentum upon reaching the midline, there could be sideways movement or a short-term correction. However, if buyers remain strong and volume supports the move, it is highly likely that the price will break through and reach the upper band of the channel. Currently, the price has gained upward momentum with support from the lower band and is moving toward the midline. This shows that buyers are active and the uptrend may continue. However, for this move to be sustainable, it is crucial that volume increases alongside it. Volume-backed moves tend to be stronger, whereas low-volume rallies often lead to short-term corrections. Therefore, in addition to the technical structure, volume analysis should also be considered by investors. Another key point to note is that the price tends to rise by making periodic corrections within the channel. This indicates that the ascending channel is functioning healthily and the market is progressing in a stable manner. As the price moves between the lower, mid, and upper bands of the channel, it becomes easier for investors to position themselves strategically. Structures forming between the lower and mid bands especially provide short-term buying opportunities and safe tracking zones for those already in positions. As the price moves toward the midline, reactions at this level should be closely monitored. If the price manages to pass through this level without hesitation, it indicates that bullish momentum is still strong and that buyers are dominant. In such a scenario, it would be a natural outcome for the price to rise all the way to the upper band of the channel. This also provides a solid reference for investors in setting short and medium-term targets. On the other hand, if the price struggles at the midline, any short-term corrections that may occur should not be seen as panic triggers, but as potential buying opportunities. As long as the price stays within the channel structure, it makes sense to assume that the overall direction remains upward. Therefore, any pullbacks should be viewed as part of the longer-term uptrend. Additionally, the psychological impact of channel structures on investors should not be overlooked. Every reaction within the ascending channel gives investors a certain level of confidence. This increases market participation and leads to expanded trading volume. Greater volume makes price movements clearer and more powerful. Within this dynamic, even if the price retraces back to the lower band, there is a high probability that the market will once again respond upward in a similar fashion. Looking at the current situation, the price is advancing toward the midline with support from the lower band, which is a strong signal that the overall uptrend continues. The behavior of the price upon reaching the midline will be decisive in determining whether a move toward the upper band will begin. In other words, this is a strategic decision point for investors. In conclusion, the price continuing its upward movement with support from the lower band within the current ascending channel structure supports the overall positive market sentiment and provides strong technical signals. As long as this structure remains intact, meaning the price does not break below the lower boundary of the channel, the likelihood of the uptrend continuing remains quite high. Especially if the price surpasses the midline, market participants' confidence will increase further, and with the entry of new buyers, the upward move is likely to accelerate. Therefore, for investors, closely monitoring this technical structure is of great importance in managing their positions. But we can't rely on channels alone for analysis. Let's look at other metrics as well. Stay tuned.
I'm interrupting the video for a moment, friends, because Bitunix Exchange has a great campaign. Here's how it works. After registering on the exchange via the link in the description and completing KYC, if you deposit $100 for your first deposit, you will receive a $20 bonus. If you deposit $500, you will receive a $100 bonus. And if you deposit $1,000, you will receive a $200 bonus. I think this is an excellent opportunity for leverage trading. For more details, you can read the articles below. The link is in the description.
When analyzing the chart, it can be observed that the price movements have taken on a rather striking structure. Especially from a technical analysis perspective, there is a clear resistance level located just above the current price. This resistance has previously been an area where the price struggled to rise and encountered selling pressure. Such resistance zones are considered highly significant in terms of investor psychology, because past sell-offs at this level lead many investors to see it as a selling point. However, the breakout of such resistances can also open the door to significant upward potential from a technical standpoint. The price approaching this resistance level can be seen as a sign that buyers are becoming more active in the market. Especially when recent candlestick formations and volume data are analyzed, it becomes evident that pressure on this resistance line is increasing day by day. In such a case, if the resistance level is broken to the upside, the price may experience a breakout and surge sharply. This possibility is based on a common principle in technical analysis known as post-resistance breakout momentum. This principle suggests that breaking psychological and technical resistance levels can trigger buy orders, leading to a rapid price surge. Furthermore, considering that this resistance area has multiple touch points and each touch has resulted in a pullback, it becomes clearer that this is a strong resistance. This also means that if the level is broken, the resistance line may transform into a support zone. Support-resistance flips are very important concepts in technical analysis because they offer strong signals about the trend direction. Therefore, if the price breaks this resistance level and sustains above it, this level will start to be defended by buyers and pave the way for higher price levels. Volume plays a crucial role here. For a breakout to be valid, the price must move upward with volume support as it breaks the resistance zone. Breakouts with weak volume are often referred to as fakeouts and typically result in the price falling back below the support level, misleading investors. However, in this case, the rising volume as the price approaches the resistance area shows that market participants have confidence in the uptrend and are increasing their positions accordingly. This serves as an important indicator for the sustainability of the trend that may continue after the breakout. Additionally, positive macroeconomic data, current developments, or favorable sector-specific news can serve as catalysts in successfully completing these technical patterns. For instance, good news related to the relevant coin or asset may increase investor interest, support volume, and make it easier to reach target levels after the resistance breakout. Therefore, in such cases, fundamental analysis also plays a significant role alongside technical analysis. If the price manages to surpass this resistance level, it may create a positive atmosphere among investors, and we could witness a rapid increase in buy orders due to FOMO. This can drive the price even higher. Factors such as discussion of the breakout on social media, its spread within crypto communities, and investors viewing it as an opportunity can further accelerate the move. In other words, a resistance breakout is not just a technical event, but it's also a multifaceted development with psychological and social aspects. Some investors prefer to be cautious at such resistance levels and wait for the price to return to this level after the breakout. This process is called a retest. If the price tests the broken resistance level again and bounces upward from that region, it provides even a stronger signal to investors. This scenario shows that the former resistance has now become support and that buyers are defending the level.
From this point on, the upward move is expected to be more reliable and sustained. In general, breaking this resistance level could mean that the price is entering a new wave of upward movement. Such technical developments are particularly important for trend reversals, because if a price that has been moving sideways or downward for a while breaks a resistance level, it may signal the beginning of a new uptrend. This should be carefully monitored by both short-term traders and medium to long-term investors. In conclusion, from a technical analysis point of view, this resistance level just above the current price movement holds significant clues about how the market will react at the moment of a breakout. If this resistance is broken, it will be considered a breakout signal in technical analysis and may potentially trigger an upward move in price. As such movements occur, it is likely that investors will start discussing new target levels and overall market optimism will increase. Of course, stop loss and risk management should not be overlooked in this scenario, but from a technical perspective, the expectation that the price will gain further ground and possibly reach new highs after a resistance breakout appears to be a logical and probable scenario.
When we closely examine Zbcn'S daily wallet ownership data, we can clearly see a noticeable and consistent increase. The rising number of holders on a daily basis indicates that the project is increasingly being adopted by the community and is becoming a trusted asset. In the crypto market, one of the most critical factors determining the long-term success of a project is the strength of its community and the speed at which that community grows. Zbcn'S progress in this area reveals that investors have long-term expectations for the project and are inclined to accumulate tokens rather than sell them. The daily increase in holder count not only shows that the project is gaining more exposure in the market, but also that broader groups of investors are beginning to trust it. In particular, community influence is a key factor in price movements for crypto assets. A review of Zbcn'S current on-chain data shows that a significant portion of the wallets holding the token belong to long-term investors. These investors are not seeking short-term profits, but instead are maintaining their trust in the project and believing in Zbcn'S future potential. For a token's price to experience a sharp increase, both technical and fundamental indicators must align. One of the fundamental indicators, the rise in the number of holders, is one of the foundational elements of a potential price surge. As the number of holders increases, the circulating supply starts to shrink. If these new investors choose to hold rather than sell their tokens, that supply becomes locked. If demand stays the same or increases, it creates upward pressure on the price. This paves the way for large and rapid price increases. In early-stage projects like Zbcn, these dynamics can lead to much quicker and more impactful outcomes. The steady rise seen in Zbcn'S current holder curve suggests a sustainable and grounded growth rather than a speculative move. This indicates that investors now view the project not merely as a short-term profit opportunity, but as an asset with strong, long-term growth potential. This shift in perception often sets the stage for breakout moments that can lead to exponential price increases, especially in low market cap projects. If this trend continues and investors keep holding their tokens, a strong demand base for Zbcn will form. At this point, the network effect also comes into play. As the number of holders grows, the community expands, and more people begin to talk about, share, and recommend the project. This increases Zbcn'S visibility and draws in new investors. Each new holder not only helps lock supply, but also becomes a potential ambassador for the project. If this cycle continues for a sufficient period, it can build enough pressure to eventually cause a breakout in price. The rise in Zbcn'S daily holder count also shows that investor sentiment is evolving in a positive direction. Investors are now driven by hope and expectations rather than fear or uncertainty. As long as this optimism is backed by on-chain data, it becomes only a matter of time before the price begins to move upward. Moreover, if Zbcn manages to surpass key technical levels while the holder count continues to grow, the potential for very sharp price movements becomes much more likely. At this point, the presence of diamond hands, investors who do not panic sell and continue holding even during price pullbacks, becomes especially important. If Zbcn'S community is composed largely of these types of investors and the holder count does not drop even during price dips, it confirms investor confidence in the project. This trust helps solidify Zbcn'S base levels and allows for much higher price targets over the long term. Since Zbcn is still in its early stages,
It can be assumed that the increase in holders also contributes to the project gaining technical strength. As the holder count grows, the liquidity pool supporting this token on DEXs or SEXs may also expand. This growth not only leads to increased trading volume, but also helps prevent price manipulation. Stronger liquidity means a more stable market, which makes it easier for new investors to enter. Additionally, if Zbcn'S roadmap and development process are transparent and guided by a clear vision, the increase in holder count becomes even more meaningful. This implies that new investors are not just interested in price potential, but also in the technological or economic benefits the project offers. This transforms Zbcn from a speculative asset into a blockchain infrastructure or platform capable of solving real-world problems. If this positive trend continues and the number of holders keeps rising, Zbcn will eventually reach a broader audience, setting the stage for a much stronger price momentum. The rise of an asset often begins with the belief of its investors. If that belief is backed by a growing number of daily holders, the price will eventually rise on top of that foundation. Even Zbcn'S current holder count shows that this process has already begun. If the momentum is maintained, it could reach a much wider community and much higher price levels in just a few months or years.
Yes, friends, I hope you liked the video. If you subscribe to my channel and like the video, more videos will be coming. Be careful in your investments. Analyze the risks correctly and always take strategic steps. I will be with you with different analyses, investment opportunities, and technical information in my videos. I wish you all a lot of profit. See you soon.